Above his head they placed the written charge against him. This is Jesus, King of the Jews. 2 rebels were crucified with him, one on his right side and one to his left. Those who passed by hurled insults at him, shaking their heads and saying, "You who are going to destroy the temple and build it in 3 days, save yourself. Come down from the cross if you are the Son of God." In the same way, the chief priests, the teachers of the law, and the elders mocked him. He saved others, they said, but he can't save himself. He's the King of Israel. Let him come down now from the cross, and we will believe in him. He trusts in God. Let God rescue him now, if he wants him, for he said, "I am the Son of God." In the same way, the rebels who were crucified with him also heaped insults on him. From noon until 3 in the afternoon, darkness came over all the land. About 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Jesus cried out in a loud voice, "Eli, Eli, lema sabachthani," which means, my God, why have you forsaken me?" When some of those standing there heard this, they said, "He's calling Elijah." Immediately, one of them ran and got a sponge. He filled it with wine vinegar, put it on a staff, and offered it to Jesus to drink. The rest said, "Now leave him alone. Let's see if Elijah comes to save him." And when Jesus had cried out again in a loud voice, he gave up his spirit.
We'll stand to sing again, "I cast my mind to Calvary, where Jesus bled."
Last is one to give up. My God, why have you forsaken me? Why are you so far from saving me, so far from my cries of anguish? My God, I cry out by day, but you do not answer by night, but I find no rest. Yet you are enthroned as the Holy One. You are the one Israel praises. Our ancestors put their trust in you. They trusted you and you delivered them. To you they cried out and they were saved. To you they trusted, in you they trusted and were not put to shame. But I am a worm and not a man, scorned by everyone, despised by the people. All who see me mock me. They hurl insults, shaking their heads. He trusts in the Lord, they say. Let the Lord rescue him. Let him deliver him, since he delights in him. Yet you brought me out of the womb. You made me trust in you even at my mother's breast. From birth I was cast on you. From my mother's womb you have been my God. Do not be far from me, for trouble is near and there is no one to help. Many bulls surround me, strong bulls of Bashan encircle me. Roaring lions that tear their prey open their mouths wide against me. I am poured out like water, and all my bones are out of joint. My heart has turned to wax. It has melted within me. My mouth has dried up like a potsherd, and my tongue sticks to the roof of my mouth. You lay me in the dust of death. Dogs surround me. A pack of villains encircles me. They pierce my hands and my feet. All my bones are on display. People stare and gloat over me. They divide my clothes among them and cast lots for my garment. But you, Lord, do not be far from me. You are my strength. Come quickly to help me. Deliver me from the sword, my precious life from the power of the dogs. Rescue me from the mouth of the lions. Save me from the horns of the wild oxen.
Very much, Phil. So the page number on the screen, and I see quite a lot of people have got Bibles open. It would be really helpful if everyone would like to turn to page 554 in one of the church Bibles. I'm going to think again in a minute about those words that Phil read, and they were written by King David. And as we were reading them, we might have thought that that was about Jesus on the cross, because so many of the details fit with what we read that Matthew had described about Jesus on the cross. But it was actually written 1,000 years before Jesus. An amazing thing of how God caused that to be written like that. Now, this chair represents me. Now, it's not exactly like me. Can you think of it? Can you spot any differences between that chair and me? Can call out something that's different?
Got too many legs.
It's got 4 legs, and like most people, I've only got 2. And any other differences? More comfortable to sit on you. You can have time both, but you're right, I'm sure. That's more comfortable to sit on. And any other differences? It doesn't have a head. It doesn't have arms.
No,
It doesn't have eyes. It's an inanimate object, so it's not wanting to do anything. It's not thinking. It's just a chair. Okay, but the thing about it that is like me is that you can see which way it's facing. Because like most people, I put a face on the front. And if I'm looking that way, you can tell if I'm facing you, then you know I'm facing you. And the chair faces one way or another, doesn't it? And this chair represents God. And again, it's not exactly like God. It's very difficult to describe God and say what he's like, and we can't see him. So where we can see this chair, what it's representing about God. Another thing that's wrong with this illustration is that they're both the same size. But I'm quite small, really. I'm quite big compared to some of you, but God is so much bigger, and he's all powerful, and he knows everything. So it's not an exact illustration in lots of ways, but like me, made in the image of God, God can face in different directions as well. He can turn towards people. And God's face is turned towards the people that he's made because he loves us and he's provided for us. He made us. And King David wrote in this psalm, if you look on page 554, Psalm 22, look at verse 9. David said to God, "Yet you brought me out of the womb. That's my mummy's tummy. You made me trust in you even at my mother's breast. God made us and gave us reasons to trust him because he's given so many good things to us. He's turned towards the people that he loves as he gives us good things. And he wants us to turn to him and love him. And the first people that he made, he put them in a lovely garden and he gave them lots of good things. Go for a walk with them in the afternoons. And he wants us to love him with our whole heart. But what the Bible says about us fits with our experience of God, that sometimes we turn away from God. Adam and Eve in the beginning disobeyed God and decided they didn't want him to be in charge. They didn't want to follow his rules. They wanted to go their own way. And we've all followed after them because there's something wrong with us in the way we're born since the first people turned away. And we might not realize that we're turned away from God. We might not be thinking, God's my enemy. We might just be thinking, oh, that's silly. And we just forget all about God and leave him out of our lives. And we've turned our backs on him, which is not what he wants at all. He wants a relationship of love with us. Now, this chap represents Jesus. And the Lord Jesus is human, just like us, but different from us because he always lived turned to God, always obeying him and loving him and facing God. Jesus, the Son of God, who is God in human form, was rejected by people. People turned their back on Jesus, rejected him. But these things that were written by David applied to Jesus. And when he was put to death on the cross, look at verse number 7. All who see me mock me, they hurl insults, shaking their heads. That was what happened to Jesus before and when they put him on the cross. People rejected him. And how did Jesus feel? Look at verse 6. But I am a worm and not a man, scorned by everyone, despised by the people. Have you ever felt like that? Everybody hates me. I'm like a worm. And Jesus was, though he was up on the cross, it was like he was knocked down. And so in verse 14, it said, I'm poured out like water, as though the life has gone out of him. I wonder if we've ever felt like that at sad times in our lives, or times where we feel as though nobody understands, nobody loves us. Jesus felt that in a very big way. Poured out like water, all my bones are out of joint. I was hurt so much being hung on the cross. My heart has turned to wax, it's melted away within me. So, even more than King David when he wrote this about some experience that he had, which may be like experiences that we have had, even though Jesus was up high on this cross for everyone to see. And verse 17, all my bones are on display. People stare and gloat over me. People were there over Jesus in a sense because he was down and suffering. And verse 15, my mouth is dried up like a potsherd. I don't really know what a potsherd is, but it must be a very dry thing. My tongue sticks to the roof of my mouth. Jesus was so thirsty on the cross. You lay me in the dust of death. And what about God? Could God have stopped this from happening? Well, yes, he could. God can do anything. But in verse 1, Jesus quoted these words from on the cross, which we heard from Matthew's Gospel. He said, Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani. My God, why have you forsaken me? Jesus cried out, quoting that verse from the cross. And some people say Jesus just felt like that, but God hadn't really turned away. But he had. The sky went dark as God turned his back on Jesus. And Jesus, who had always been in a loving relationship with his Father, was now separated from God. And he cried out in agony, my God, why have you forsaken me? And so Jesus was down in the dust of death. We sometimes hear and perhaps use the word hell. Hell is the place of God's punishment, and it's probably not like we might picture it to be, or imagine, or artists have tried to paint or show. But God's punishment for sin, for us turning our backs on God, is separation from God. It's God turning his back on us. And every good thing comes from God. Life comes from God. And so that means death. It means separation from everything good. And Jesus went to hell. When he was on the cross, he was separated from God. It seemed like the end.